okay, I'm going home now. Now, what if it's was saying? I know I was blabbing, right? You're like, God, you blabbing a lot about this. But yeah, I just feel like I said, there's just too many people here. And I remember, like I said, I even remember the other my regular Spark drivers when I worked at Walmart, whining about, oh, there's nothing, oh, we're waiting all the time, whatever. Either the office sucked or they just were so dead, waiting around and then whatever. You know what I mean? I think it's because everyone knows that Bentonville is the area to work, right? Oh, it's the area to work. And I can't tell you. Yeah, I kind of would agree with them because it probably is. But, cause you think about, like I said, why don't I like fast food in freaking Fayetteville? Because you get stuck with a lot of apartments. And then you got to go downtown, which is crap and crazy. And then you got to deal with all the college students. And, some of the apartments in Fayetteville are insane. Now, I'm not saying that's not going to happen in our area, because they are making apartments everywhere. And some of them are getting taller than 3 feet, 3 stories. And I don't even like 3 stories. I'm like, dude, 2 stories is good enough. But their apartments are so massive. It's like, I feel like it's New York already over there. You know what I mean? Like, let's throw a bunch of people in this whole complex. And then, oh my God, they're just huge, And finding some of the apartments is a nightmare. So, because I'm not used to that, right? That's why I've been really choosy with the ones I take. And I don't want to do apartments if I don't have to. I probably need it, though. I probably need the exercise, because, oh my God, I'm walking up those 3 stairs was exercise. Then Tony, the 2nd stair was exercise. Look at that. I don't know what's going on there. It must be a fire drill. At least I hope that's what it is. But anyway, Walmart at the warehouse is having, oh no, they're having a family day. That's so sweet. I remember when warehouses did all that shit. I ain't gonna lie. God, that is a nice benefit about working at the warehouse, because you think they do that for the stores? Don't think so. You know what I mean? But yeah, we got a lot of shit from working at the warehouse. Like I said, it was totally worth it. And I was lucky because back then, our warehouse was the #1 warehouse. I think it was one of the first warehouses. So we got all our things that we got were really good. Like the gift suite they gave us was sweet. We had high safety, whatever number, this and that. I don't remember, but it was awesome. And like I said, full-time benefits, part-time work. Oh my God. The only thing is, it was kind of hard to live off part-time work, But but that part sucked. And that's why I did bounce around. Like, I got to work at the return center. I got to work at the paper place. I don't remember where else I got to work, but I remember, it was kind of fun. So at least you did get the option of maybe going somewhere else that was busy. Oh, the return center. Did I say that? I might have said that already. But I wanted to go to jewelry. I wanted to go to pharmacy. This is what people will be bragging about. Like, oh yeah, I got to go pharmacy. Because they apparently have a place where they, deal with the drugs or something, warehouses. I don't know. And I was like, that was supposedly the dream job. That's what I heard. And jewelry. Everyone apparently loved jewelry, okay? But they were really supposedly strict at jewelry, because obviously, they're making sure no one's stealing any jewelry while they're working. So like I said, but that was the only thing with the jewelry. But it was fun. Like I said, the paper place wasn't bad. When they were very busy, like they got a lot of overtime, and they got an hour lunch. Because I remember that, because we at the warehouse, we didn't have to take a lunch, or at least we got 30-minute paid lunch, and that was awesome, because that's how it works. If you got a 30-minute paid lunch, you got paid for it. But if you took an hour lunch, you didn't get paid for it. That part sucked. And nobody really wanted to go to an hour lunch, because they gave us the option. We're like, no, we do not want to be here longer than we have to be, And I think they went to 10-hour shifts, because I remember before, I was done with the warehouse, I was working 10-hour shifts. I don't want to say 4 days a week, and then the Saturday people got like 3 days, 12-hour shifts. They were like, yeah. But anyway, I couldn't do 12-hour shift at the warehouse. My feet were screaming at 10. It was insane, and I was young then, so. That was at the return center, though, not actually the warehouse, because I transferred to the return center because of the hour problem. Like, I got where I was like, I have to actually work full time. I was sad that I had to do it, but we couldn't make it financially. It was impossible to make it on a part-time, paycheck. It was just impossible. And anyway, so there you go. Oh Lord. And my husband worked then too, and he always, like I said, he always got good jobs. He usually, like I said, somehow he always had made more money than me. And I was still making and I said I worked at a warehouse, so he's just damn. But anyway, oh God, I'm trying to think here. And Johanna, what? Oh yeah, I was thinking about getting Raising Cane's, but whatever. Oh yeah, so back to my whole spiel. Sorry about that memory lane there. Memory lane, because I saw that warehouse and they're like, oh yeah, I remember those days. Oh, you had to take our kid to see Santa. They had a a Christmas party for us and a dinner. Oh my God, it was awesome. So yeah, working in a warehouse is nice, but you do have to heat the hot and the cold, just like the garden center, because there's no AC in those buildings. Now, the paper one did have AC, so that's nice. I heard the jewelry one did too, because Walmart, they care about the product. So if the product has to have air, you're getting air. If it does not have to have air, you don't. So that's how it works, And yeah, and like I said, I could handle the heat better then. And we had, they were pretty lenient on, I wouldn't say super lenient, because I remember back then the stores were really lenient, and you could flexible, and you could trade shifts and shit like that, because I remember that was one of the perks of working for the stores, okay? I don't know if they do that, because I remember, I think they tried to go back to that system, but I don't know if it ever worked. But when I was working there, I do kind of vaguely remember, but I don't think, I don't know. It just didn't seem the same. Anyway, because one lady, I guess she had a lot of issues, and she'd come from the store, and she did not like that we were not flexible. Like, we had the point system too, but I still thought it was pretty good. It was a pretty damn good point system. And you had plenty of points before you got fired, because I racked mine up too, because that's what a lot of people did. We rack ours up to 5 or whatever the hell was, and then we would be good. And then and there's 3 different steps. Like, they don't just fire you at the 5th one. You go to that's step 1, and then there's another step, you get 2 more absences or something, and tardies or whatever the hell, I don't even remember. And then there's a 3rd step, which you would get terminated, or they could keep you if they really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? That's how it worked. You did a signed contract thing, whatever. There's a lot of traffic here, but yeah, it was pretty sweet. But that lady was, nope, can't do this. There's no flexibility in this place. Whatever. And of course, you do have your PPTO and your PTO, but I don't know what it was like back then. I couldn't tell you that part. I don't know if they really had PPTO. If it was just sick time. You know what I mean? But because I racked up quite a bit. I remember when I was at the return center, because I didn't want to be there a lot, I literally would take a day off every week, and then I would also freaking just get an absence. I was like, psh. I literally was like, screw this, I don't want to be here. It's summer, it's hot, I don't want to be here. Can you imagine? I know one person was like, I don't know how she still has her job. She's absent every fucking week. Because I knew how to play the system. Jesus, oh God, which is sad and awful, but true, and I was like, God, I just didn't like the return center that much. It was boring. And I was in the electronic department, so it wasn't even hard, Oh, I don't know. You just get that way. I think what the problem was, like you said, after 3 years of working someplace, I get tired of it. I'm just like, I've been here too long. I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. You know what I mean? Because I've been looking at my work history, and honestly, 4 years at a place, I think, is the longest I've ever really done in my life. Like, after 4 years, I'm done, 4 to 5, I would say. But because I'm pretty sure I didn't make it 4 years from transferring for 3 places as last time, and that's 3 different jobs. So, see, I should have been able to do each one for at least 3 years apiece. It should have been 3, 6, 9 years. So what does that tell you, But I just ended up bouncing around a lot sooner than I thought, because things just happened and progressed and whatever the hell. But Yeah, I should have been able to do, because like I said, I stayed at my first store for at least 3 years, and then I transferred to Pea Ridge, and I was going to stay there, except that then an opportunity for in-home opened up. But I can almost guarantee you I would still be at Walmart if I hadn't transferred to in-home. You know, that is the saddest part. I would have probably done my 3 years there at least, if, you know, whatever. And then, I don't know, then who knows. But I know it. I would have been, you know. Yeah, so but I'm glad that I got to check it out, try it out, learn more stuff. It was definitely worth it experience-wise. And part of me is like I said, part of me is like, I wouldn't mind bouncing around now, instead of doing 3 years at a place, I don't mind 6 months to a year trying something just to do something different. You know what I mean? And live life, experiment. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry you have to stare at this car because it's just whatever. You're like, why do you want to see this car up here? Sorry. Yeah, but yeah. God. Anyway, oh look, a fire truck. You guys see it pass? Bing. Oh yes, you did. Okay, you got to see it. That's why we must be pulled over. I don't know. Oh, what the hell is that thing? Amazon vans and a bus, I think, in front of me. If this car was away, I could see. I think I hear more sirens, but I don't know. Yeah, I think that's I know that one. No, maybe that's a pickup. A pickup, and then some kind of ugly ass van in front, but you can't see it because it's a white car. Yeah, that's definitely a pickup. I don't know why I thought it was an Amazon van. I'm losing my mind. We're almost to Raising Cane's. I'll probably quit here. I think I am just going to get Raising Cane's. I don't want to think too much. My brain's not even working really well right now. I'm too excited, okay? But, oh God. I guess I give up on the whole thing. I guess you get my whole point. I just feel like the Bentonville market's just whatever. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been staying really busy. It is Saturday. I know if I'd stayed in the Springdale area, I would have still had orders. Like I don't think I would have waited as long. But I'm not complaining. You see that? See, there's like 5 cars on that thing. Okay, cool. 5 cars. and the truck ain't bad. It's kind of like it's a fancy looking truck. Okay. But I feel like I would have got orders a lot faster, and maybe even decent orders. But like I said, even if they'd been kind of low and not that great, I think they still would have been better. And there would have been more of them, so I wouldn't have been like, waiting as long as I did, you know? Because, but then again, it could be a daytime thing. I've been doing daytime. I've been keeping busy over there, but there's been slow times. I don't know. It's hard to judge right now. I shouldn't. I've only been in this market 2 times now, and I shouldn't go, oh, Johanna, they're really bad, they're terrible in this area. You don't really know. I guess I should give it more of a chance. So I might still try to go back and forth when I'm by myself, because my husband isn't going to want to stay in this area at all. But because like I said, for food, I prefer actually Benton County. But like I said, at nighttime, since my husband is the one driving, he wants to stay there. So I've been having to suffer through Fayetteville and stuff because of it. But he is kind of right. There is more shit open. Like, we could literally work. Like, I know what that lady's saying. And she's like, yeah, you can work till way in the morning if you want to. There might be crappy orders, but you could work with no traffic. But you could get pulled over if you're speeding. Like that lady said, she says, do not speed, because there's a lot more cops out there, and you will get pulled over. But but yeah, she's kind of right. There is work, especially downtown. Like, because I said they're partying until God knows what time. Fine, get in, Jesus. Okay, yeah, they are partying, are going to the clubs. Dixon Street. That's the busiest area. Everything is open. And I think Martin Luther King, there's a lot of shit open too. Late. You know what I mean? Those are the 2 places I feel like there's a lot of freaking things going on in Fayetteville. Even during the week, okay? Weekdays, even. But our market is closed by midnight, okay? Everything's dead for sure. And you lose a lot at 10 o'clock. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to quit now. No more blabbing. No more.